Very excited to welcome back an old friend and colleague. Yes, the word legend gets thrown around a lot, but it really does fit this guy. Jim Rogers, one of the smartest money men around, a rare visit. He's back from Singapore, and now he's visiting family for the holidays down there in Alabama. JR, how are you, my friend?
Bill, I'm delighted to see you, and please don't call me a legend. I'm a simple person from Alabama. You know that.
Yeah. I've heard that many times. Let's just start with your view of the world, and I suspect we all know what it will be, but what do you think of the way the U.S. government has handled the credit crisis in the last few months here?
Unmitigated disaster, Bill. You know, Dr. Albert Einstein has a definition of insanity. He said if you try the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, you're insane. I mean, Bernanke's been wrong 100 weeks. Paulson's been wrong 100 weeks in a row. Bernanke's been wrong 300 weeks in a row. And now we're bringing in a guy, what's his name, Geithner? He's been wrong 750 weeks in a row. What is wrong with America?
They didn't act soon enough? They've acted too much? What's your exact criticism?
Well, they bailed out everybody in sight. Listen,
and they
I'm going up into... Of course they shouldn't have. They should let people fail. The way the system is supposed to work, when things go bad, the competent people take the assets from the incompetent people and start over from a position of strength.
But if
what we're doing now is wait, Bill. What we're doing now is taking the assets from the competent people, giving them to the incompetent people, and saying now you compete with the competent people. This is weakening the whole system. It's what Japan tried to do, and it failed in Japan. It's going to fail here.
You're upset, I know, about the price tag that taxpayers will have to pay, the unintended victims in all of this. But if you do nothing, you let them fail, as you said, then we all go with them in that way. So we either pay the price, down the road, or we pay a huge price now, don't you think?
Bill, no. Banks have been going bankrupt for hundreds of years. Investment bankers have been going bankrupt for hundreds of years.
This wasn't just about banks. This was about the companies that were borrowing from those banks. This was about the mortgage companies. This was about, the whole financial infrastructure of the United States was at risk here.
Bill, let the whole infrastructure of the United States, the incompetent ones, there are plenty of banks out there who've been waiting for this, plenty of brokers who've been waiting for this. They rise when the other people fail. Now it's very difficult for them to rise. So, Bill, we would have had a hard couple of years, there's no question. I'd rather have a hard couple of years than a hard 18 years. The Japanese still haven't recovered 18 years later.
Okay.
Can I ask you some of your investment opinions right now, Jim?
Well, I covered a lot of my shorts. I covered nearly all of my shorts in October. It looked like there was a selling climax. Throughout history, you're supposed to buy when there's a selling climax. Ask me in 6 months whether I did the right thing or not.
I think of our old friend John Templeton, who just passed away recently, and what he said about when he was breaking in during the Great Depression, that he bought a series of stocks. Just, he looked at price level and just bought all those stocks, and of course we all know he made a fortune at that point. Isn't it possible that what we're seeing right now is the beginning of what could be the buying opportunity of our lifetime right now?
Well, Bill, I just said I covered nearly all of my shorts in October.
But are you buying U.S. companies right now at these lower levels?
No, what I have been buying, I've been buying Chinese companies, Taiwan companies, and a lot of agriculture.
Why not U.S.?
A lot of raw materials. The system in America is very weakened. The only thing, Bill, in times like this, the way you make money is you buy things where the assets are unimpaired. The only thing I know where the assets are unimpaired are commodities, raw materials. They're coming out of this better. Farmers cannot even get loans to buy fertilizer right now. Nobody's going to open a zinc mine, so the supply of all raw materials are going to be declining. Bank of America is impaired. General Motors is impaired. Commodities are not impaired, they're enhanced.
You've been buying China for a very long time, right? And that market's gotten slaughtered. I mean, it's down far worse than the United States.
Well, I've bought my first Chinese shares in 1999, Michelle. I've never sold a single share in China, of course not.
But don't you wish you had a year ago?
No, you kidding? Listen, selling China in 2008 would be like selling America in 1908. Only an idiot would have done something like that. They may have looked good for 6 months, but they would not have looked good 60 years later or even 16 years later.
I got to ask you about treasuries. I mean, you in the past have sworn on your life that the 10-year wouldn't drop below 6% in the yield, and this morning we're looking at roughly around 3%, something Rick Santelli says he can't find in his records. What do you make of that?
Well, that's not what I swore on my life. I swore that the 30-year wouldn't go below 6%. I didn't even say that.
It's gone below that, too.
Details.
I know it has. I know it has. But that was 15 years ago I said that, Michelle. Have you not made any mistakes in the last 15 years? Good Lord. You on CNBC were talking about buying .coms.
All right. You are the one.
You on .com. All you .com people. Remember how CNBC said buy .com?
You are the one who told me over and over again that the time to buy is when everybody's panicking, is when there's blood in the streets, and all those platitudes and cliches. Isn't that what's going on in the United States right now? You're making the case of the viability of some of these companies, but isn't that the precise moment when you should take the risk and step into some of these companies?
Bill, I've been buying. I don't know what I'm just saying. The best thing has been to buy
I'm talking about the United States. I get the Taiwan play. I get the China play. I get, the growth in Asia. You've moved to Singapore. You've made it very clear where you feel the growth opportunities lie. But in the United States, as we sit here waiting for these bailouts to try and do something, isn't this the time when everybody's frozen with fear to buy these stocks?
Bill, what you buy is you buy the things where the fundamentals are best, where you're going to make the most money. You're going to make a lot more money in commodities themselves rather than in stocks. I have been buying. I don't know what else to say. Even in 1929 and 30, the commodities came out of all that faster, hit bottom first, and started going up long before the economy did and long before the stock market did. The reason we're in this business, Bill, is to make money. You buy the best things. You don't buy everything.
Jim, what do you think of President-elect Barack Obama, and what effect will he have on the economy?
Well, Mr. Obama ran on a platform with two planks. One, he was going to tax capital. Listen, I did not vote for McCain, but what kind of genius would tax capital in a period when we have a huge capital shortage? His other platform was protectionism. Good Lord. I mean, protectionism has destroyed economies for centuries. So I am worried about him. I hope he doesn't mean it. I hope he was just trying to get elected. But protectionism and taxing capital is going to be a disaster for America if he means it.
I'm going to press this one more time. Give me one U.S. stock you'd buy.
I've been buying airlines. I've been buying airlines, but I've been buying international airlines, not U.S. airlines.
Give me a U.S. company you would buy right now.
Aren't you glad you came on, Jim?
Oh, I would buy. Listen, I tell you, I've been buying the Rogers Commodity Index, which is listed on the exchange.
Stop. We showed the book. We did all that. Give me one U.S. company you would buy right now.
Well, I still own a lot of small utilities in America, and I haven't sold any of them, and I will probably buy some more of those shortly, because it looks like the double bottom is holding. Looks like we're going to have a good, the market's going up on bad news. That is always a good sign, Bill. You were right. You were exactly right. I covered my shorts, and we're having bad news, and the market's going up. That has always been a good sign.
Very good. Always good to see you. My best to your lovely bride and daughter.
Thank you. I got two daughters now.
Congratulations.
Excellent. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks for sending the announcement, by the way.
Lots of turkey then.
Thank you.
Jim Rogers, his latest book, as you saw, is called Bull in China.